Lesson 13 is all about rounding. We are going to practice rounding 2- and 3-digit numbers to the nearest 10 on the vertical number line. Number 1 says to round to the nearest 10, and we're going to use the number line to model our thinking. You're going to notice as we go through these problems that more and more information is provided to us and then taken away as we go. Alright, so letter A says that 32 is about blank. So you can see here on our number line that if I say 32, my bottom number is 30 because there's 3 in the tens place, so 3 tens is 30. And then my top number is 40. I just count up by 10. So then my halfway is 35. I can plot 32 right about here. So 32 is closer to 30 or 40? Closer to 30. You've already had lots of practice with doing this. So if you feel comfortable enough to go ahead and keep working on your own, then please definitely go ahead and do that. But make sure that you come back and you check your answers when you're done. Don't just fast forward through and then copy all the answers after you're finished. That's not going to help you practice. So make sure that you're either doing these problems along with me or you're trying them on your own first and then just coming back to check. If you miss a problem, remember you can fast forward or rewind and then you can hear my explanation and use that to help you correct your mistake. Alright, so let's keep going. 36 is about blank. So I know on my number line, I have my number is 36. So 36 is 3 tens, which is 30. And if my bottom number is 30, my top number is 40. And my halfway, or my midpoint, 35, has already been plotted for me. So when I'm counting, I know that 36 is above 35. So 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 36 is right here. Alright, which means that 36 rounds to 40. 62. Well, I hear 62, so I know my bottom number is 60. And that makes my top number 70. My halfway is 65. See, I'm just writing the 60 with a 5 instead. Alright, so 62. Am I going to find 62 between 60 and 65 or 65 and 70? And there we have it, 62. So 62 is about 60. Ooh, now this one's a little bit different than what we've been doing. Here I have a hundreds place, but remember I'm still rounding to the tens. So really that 100 doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and just write the 1, and now I don't have to worry about it anymore. So 62, well that's the number I just did. So I'm going to follow the same pattern. 60, my top number is 70. And my halfway is 65. So, do you see how it's exactly the same, except it's just got the 100 in front of it? No problem. 4 lines again. 62 is right here in the same spot it was before, except this time I'm going to write 162. I'm just going to put that 1 in front. It doesn't change anything I've done because I'm rounding to the tens and not the hundreds. The only time that would really matter is if I was up in the 90s where I'd be rounding up, then it would change to 200. So 162 is closer to 160. Alright, so for this one we have 278. Again, we're not worried about our hundreds, so I'm going to write my 2 and then cross it off. I don't have to think about it anymore. So 78 is my number. I hear myself say 70. So then I know my top number is 80. And my halfway is 75. All right, so 278 I know is going to come at the top. 76, 77, 78. 278. That's about 280. All right, last one for this page, 405. I'm going to write down my 4s and then cross it off. Now, this one's a little bit different. 405. I hear 400, right? So instead of hearing that 40, I hear 400. Or you can see that my number here is a 0, so I have a 0 right here. Then my top number, 0, 10, when I'm counting by tens, halfway between 0 and 10 is 5. 405. Well, 405 is my number, so I'm just going to put a dot here on the line. And then what was that we said about our halfway point? Do we round up or down? We round up. So 405 is about 410. And I know that seems really weird, but if our number would be 400, we would round down. So that 0 and then that 5 kind of push us to having 5 each direction on our rounding roller coaster. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do here is fill out this table. And we're going to round the weight of each item to the nearest 10 grams. And we get to draw our own number lines for these. So don't forget, number lines have arrows at both ends. And I'm just going to draw all of my number lines just so I don't really have to do it anymore. There we go. And done. All right, so my number for the bag of chips is 36 grams. I hear 30, so that's my bottom number. Counting by tens makes my top number 40, and halfway in between is 35. So where would I put 36? Well, when I'm counting, I say 35, 36. So 36 would go right here. Rounded to the nearest 10 grams, 36 grams is about 40 grams. And I like writing that as a number sentence just because it helps me practice saying these out loud, and it also helps me practice using that about sign. You can see that it looks kind of like a crooked equal sign, and that's because they're not exactly equal, they're just about the same. So they're kind of close to the same. All right, looking at our next one, 52. I love how whenever I say my number, it gives me the answer. 52. So 50 is my bottom number. 60 is my top number. 55 is my middle. Hopefully you're getting those filled out before me. 52, when I'm counting, would be right here. So that means that 52 grams is about 50 grams. We would round down on that one. All right, our last one is 142. So again, we're going to write those ones and then don't think about them because we're only rounding to the tens. Now, when we round to the hundreds later, we are going to need to remember that they're there. But for right now, we don't. So now my number is 42. I hear 40. So what's my top number? 150. And my middle number is 145. Great. So 142. 140, 41, 42. That was some bad handwriting on my part there. So we're going to say 142 grams is about, 140 grams. We rounded down on that one too. Carl's basketball game begins at 3:03 p.m. and ends at 3:51 p.m. How many minutes did Carl's basketball game last? So for this one, you can either use a number line and make jumps, or if we're trying to find the how many minutes, those are subtraction words. So we can just subtract our minutes. Let's do 51 minutes minus 3. I have to borrow. 11 minus 3 is 8. 4 minus 0 is 4. So 48 minutes is how long his game lasted. Now I need to round the total number of minutes in the game to the nearest 10. So let's draw our number line. My number is 48. So 40, 50, 45. Is that what your number line looked like? Hopefully. All right, so 48, 45, 46, 47, 48. So my 48 minutes, is it closer to 40? Is it closer to 40 or 50? 48 minutes is about 50 minutes. All right. So that's it for that lesson. Don't forget to save as M2L13.